Good afternoon. Thank you so much for, first of all, the invitation, the kind invitation, and congratulations to the project. I have the role today to give you a keynote about regulation, European regulation, which is very, very boring. So I tried to reuse some of the content that we presented in only a month ago in May in Lisbon during the ITS European Congress. And I thought it was worthwhile to reuse some of the slides, then reshaping a little bit the content to showcase you what is happening, what was happening a little bit in the past, where are we today, and how do we envision, or the European Commission envisions the future developments in the field of connected and automated mobility. So that's me. My name there, PedroBarradas. I'm a Chief Strategy Officer in Armis ITS, which is a company close by, located in the city of Porto. We develop software mainly for traffic management purposes and ITS services. And on top of that, Armis is also holding this year the presidency of ITS Portugal, which is a non-profit organization combining many of the Portuguese companies devoted to mobility, intelligent mobility. So in that capacity, I'm very honored with the invitation and very happy with the opportunity to present you a little bit what is happening in Europe around the topic of connected and automated mobility. So a little bit of background, and I'll try to keep it short because I know we're compressed a little bit in time. So, but just to give you a kind of background, this topic is not new. It was started to be discussed in the European Commission amongst many DGs there, bringing together not only the component of mobility and connectivity, but also the automotive industry. And the way the European Commission is looking at this is to achieve world leadership on the field of connectivity and intelligent mobility. And this is actually a race that is happening in between the three regions, the US, the Europe, and Asia. I can tell you that at this point in time, we're just starting the race, so no one is winning, although you may see that there are very different approaches towards the topic, whether in Europe, where it's mainly bottom-up driven, with a lot of regulation in between to foster innovation and deployment. You see a much more innovative market in the US, where things are led by innovation and coming up to market, but then some risks are very high, and some big companies crash very often because of the uncertainty of what this new topic brings. And in Asia, you see a top-down approach saying, okay, we'll do this this way, and we'll have it be finished by that date. Sometimes failing to see standards, failing to see architectures, and then ending over finishing projects in a very short cycle that then needs to be restarted over and over again. So I would say that this is a very interesting topic to work in, but it's, as I said, just starting to be scratched. Back in 27, when the Commission had the role to, under the mandate of the ITS directive, to regulate cooperative ITS, I was by then in charge of one of the topics under the CITS platform, phase 2, that you see there, and it's available online that you can check it later. I was chairing the working group that dedicated to enhanced traffic management. So how to combine mobility, intelligent mobility, connectivity into more intelligent traffic management in our cities, in our road networks. And the discussions really came to the conclusion back then that there was a real serious gap in technical tools to promote appropriate interaction in between. Let's simplify the vehicle and the road, but there are many stakeholders involved, from OEM manufacturers, combining so many different applications inside a vehicle, to the road infrastructure and furniture equipment, using so many different types of standards and communications, to the road operators themselves, either cities or concession or national road operators, to the communication layer, of course, with so many different technologies to communicate in between these different individual systems. So obviously, and this is why I'm reinforcing, this is just being started to scratch the surface. Nevertheless, there was some insights. These automated vehicles will be computers on wheels. So there's a lot of software and code that needs to be developed to so that they really understand the traffic regulations and the implications of that into safety and efficiency. So there's a lot of things going on in this field. And one of the needs that we identified back then was the need to deploy electronic traffic regulations. So to translate the UNEC code into software code, especially standardized formats that all the stakeholders can understand and interact with. Back then, this and it still is one of my favorite slides from that period. This demonstrates the convergency between the cooperative element, the connectivity, and the automation in three layers. And as they move further away in time, and we are looking at 2045, 2050, they will become more and more interactive and then much more merged with each other. The topic of enhanced traffic management comes under day 3. So very simply, day 1 is I know where I am and I know where I'm heading. So these are the basic data that I'm sending as a moving object. Day 2 is I start to share what I see. So beyond the line of sight, 1 kilometer away, I detect a roadwork site. I can communicate that with the cars behind me. Day 3, we share our intentions. So if I want to go left or if I want to turn right, then this type of interaction starts to be developed and shared. And day 4 is like the the crown jewel where everything is automated and efficient and clean, and I think the utopic usual scenery around this. But we got this wrong too. So when we said that day 3 cooperation starts, guess what? It doesn't start spontaneously. There's a really big difficulty in putting all of these stakeholders cooperating with each other, coming to the table and saying how are we going to share our intentions, and is sharing intentions enough? Obviously, it's not. So a new term to negotiate, maneuvers to negotiate intentions, and then we open up a lot of new opportunities for research and development, whether that's centralized or decentralized. There are so many different types of applications and architectures to be studied and developed. And of course, in the future, if we are going to decentralize architectures, nothing will be coordinated, it will be orchestrated. So a few examples here, just to keep you all awake, because you came from lunch, and I don't know if the coffee was strong enough for my speech, but things like vehicle platooning, speed harmonization, lane balancing, these were kind of the use cases that we were drafting back then. And these are not examples from the European Commission. These are from the US DOT. So there are trialogues ongoing constantly between the 3 regions. And because no one knows, no one has a crystal ball about the future, these 3 regions periodically every year meet together and discuss how to move forward, how what kind of information and knowledge are they able to share, because this is going to be a global trend. Of course, everyone wants to get there first, but you want to get that right as well. So a few highway basic maneuvers, but for sharing intentions and negotiating maneuvers in the freeway. And you see that with these different geometries in road network, things complicate much quickly by weaving and merging and diverging into different lanes, into different node interchange nodes. And then the complexity rises again when you come to the urban domain. You want to park, you want to depart, you want also to establish some lane balancing in the main arteries, and you have signalized intersections with different brands of traffic lights, different brands of vehicles, different suppliers of communication hardware using different standards. A very simple thing, which is a roundabout, becomes a really difficult challenge to overcome with cooperative and automated mobility. So based on this, there was work carried out in with the three regions from then onwards, and those slides that were shared by the US DOT really gave us a hint, because also the US DOT came to the word negotiate, not sharing maneuvers, and this was a kind of a wow moment. We said, okay, how did we, without ever speaking to each other, chose the exact same word to describe what is happening in the or what is going to happen in day 3. Guess what? Also, the European Commission didn't like that word. Negotiating was not in the jargon. It doesn't fit the taxonomy. So it took us a couple of years to get to the right wording, and what we have now is agreement seeking, which is much more policy correct. And in terms of mandating or orchestrating, we have prescriptive measures that will direct you engaging platooning, or coming to an intersection, or waving or diverging or converging in a motorway. This is public, by the way, and I hope the presentation is going to be available for everyone, and I'm open for questions, so more than happy. A few of the early cooperative traffic management use cases that we have identified back in 2017. Cross-brand cooperative lane changing. Why cross-brand and cooperative? This is really super important, because there are so many different vehicles, brand manufacturers. They really need to come to the table, discuss together what they are going to harmonize in terms of data flows, in terms of data categories for exchange, so that the safety and efficiency applications are worthwhile investing in. Again, lane merging, ramp metering, which is a little bit more exotic. I'm not going to waste a little bit the time explaining that one, but on-street parking data, everyone knows what it is. And also traffic light data for promoting the use of public transport, emergency vehicles, prioritizing those at intersections, or some of the obvious use cases, low-hanging fruit that we have identified back then, as the intersection crossing cooperative, by the way, in urban areas. Now, going back to where I think we wanted to end, the regulation, what is Europe doing and why is this relevant to this audience and today for these projects? Because there were some recommendations drafted in 2017 that are describing the need for re-established digital traffic management plans. So I think is to orchestrate traffic maneuvers. If you want to orchestrate, you need a kind of a score to play the music. Otherwise, it's really so nonsense and inefficiencies. So you need these digital traffic management plans and profile traffic management plans, so that the vehicle, the infrastructure, the user can actually understand what that means and what's to expect in while moving freely in the networks. This led to this idea of making them available in the form of a digital library, available through the national access points, which are single points of access that every member state has to build to provide access or to grant access to real-time traffic data, multimodal traffic data, travel information services, road safety related information. Everything needs to fall into that national access point to be reused, recycled, and it needs to be accurate. So the quality of the data needs to be up to standards and with high quality, otherwise the services won't grow. So to foster cooperation, I think we need something, as I described that back in a month ago, we need to up the game. I think that the game needs to go from cooperation to co-opetition. We need the different brands to come together to the table and discuss ways to still compete, preserving their IP rights, but at the same time, allowing some room for maneuver for this convergence to connected, cooperative, and automated mobility to be a reality. So in the framework of the revision, and I'm just really finishing just 2 slides, the directive that was published in 2010 was now revised and is being approved by the Parliament and the Council. This was done in the 11th this month, and it's mandating availability of crucial data in those national access points across Europe, real-time traffic data information, road safety related and multimodal travel information services, Also, the geographical scope now goes beyond the motorways, the 10T corridors. It's going everywhere into every single road in Europe. Also to mandate the deployment of essential services, mainly, and this is super important for today, CITS, so cooperative ITS, that needs to be also included in the impact assessment. But it will require new legislation. And the working program between 2022 and 2027, guess what, got the recommendations from 2017, and it's now up and running. So we will be getting some grants and opportunities under CEF or Horizons for promoting these recommendations from the CITS platform back in 2017 in the upcoming years. So all that related to the work carried out back in 2017, the Enhanced Traffic Management Working Group, which is, I have to say, pretty cool. So in October 2022, last year, the TRAN committee adopted the report on the adoption of these recommendations for the revision of the ITS directive. And as I said, it's going to cover all of the network. It's going to be mandated so that the crucial and essential data to be made available in the network of the national access points, so that they are up to standards, interoperable, and harmonized across Europe, so that you can go from Lisbon to Ljubljana and not worrying about a thing in your journey, except getting the right indications and do the trip safely and efficiently. And the communication infrastructure to be standardized into message formats to be used between connected and automated vehicles by the different stakeholders involved in the value chain of the service. And that's it. That's what I presented back then, and this is what I intended to present to you guys today. I hope it's useful information for everyone. Thank you for your attention.